Are you looking for a tasty, easy to make, real Italian focaccia recipe? You found the right place. Hi, my name is Max from Max Shows Cooking, your YouTube channel covering all things cooking and especially real Italian dishes and recipe. Focaccia is an Italian yeast stuffed flatbread of which there are at least as many variations out there as there are nonna or grandmas preparing it. Today I will show you the recipe of my nonna Maria. Basically there are two variations done in Puglia, the one with and without potato. We are doing the one without potato. We are using 500 grams of normal flour, 400 grams of water, normal tap water, 20 grams of yeast, salt about 15 grams, and 30 grams of sugar. That's everything that is for the dough. For the farcitura classica or classical toppings, there are 4 ingredients. First, we have black pitted olives. You can use as many olives as you want. I don't use many because my girlfriend don't like them. The next ingredient for the toppings are medium-sized tomatoes. I cut out the stalk and then we will put them with the skin side up, but I will show it later to you. Then we have oregano. You can use how much you want, that's your to decide, and a high quality olio extra vergine di oliva. Please use a good one. Now we can start our process. The first thing we do is loosening up the flour. After being packaged for weeks and months on end, the flour is very compressed. We want to have a soft dough, so we need to loosen it up. And we can just add the 30 grams of sugar so they can mix well. I leave the machine for about 10 minutes. That's the time that my yeast needs to melt completely in the water. So the next step is I take my 400 grams of water and put about 50 to 70 grams of water in a cup and let the yeast melt. I give it a stir with a small fork up until the yeast is completely dissolved in the water. Please take a look that you don't have yeast attached to the bottom of your cup. With the 20 grams of yeast, that's not a big problem, but we will have recipes where we only need 1 gram of yeast at the same amount to the same amount of flour we are using now, and if you have half of it on attached to the bottom floor of your cup, it will be a little bit difficult to get the recipe right. So we stir it, like I said, for a few minutes, then we'll leave it be for another 5 minutes. So all in all it has 10 minutes to melt and rest before we put it into the machine with the flour. Since the yeast is now melting, the machine is working, I have a few moments, a few seconds to tell you about focaccia. Like I said at the beginning, focaccia is a yeast flatbread which is made throughout Italy, and there are hundreds, if not even thousands, variations. There are salty variations, there are sweet variations with grapes, and there are the hearty variation like we are doing now. Basically in Bari there are 2 variations, the Focaccia Barese with and without a boiled potato, but that I will explain to a later point. After my yeast is melted, I put it in the machine with the flour And as you can see, I did exactly the arrow that I told you to avoid. I have a little bit of yeast still in my cup. So I will put another bit of my water. Please don't add extra water. Use the one you have weighted in before. In the cup, mix it again and slowly put it into the machine with the sugar and flour mix. Now that all the water yeast mix is in the flour or in the machine, everything is mixing up fine. We can start to power up the machine a little bit. Don't go too fast or the water will spill out everywhere. As you can see, as I show here, I put in a little bit of waters. Don't put it all at once. Let the machine do its work. And every time you see the dough is getting dry, add a little bit more of water. Repeat this process until you have all the water in the machine or in the bowl, and all the water is taken up by the flour. Don't hasten the process, let it work, be patient. Now you can see all the water is in, the dough is getting softer and softer, and now it has the right consistency, and we can start to add the salt. The salt, as I will show here in a minute, is put on the side, not in the middle of the bowl, so the machine has time to grab a little bit salt at a time, and you don't have the danger to have a lot of salt only on one piece and it's not mixed good up. So please do like I do, put the salt at the side, leave the machine, let it work, and give it time. After you have put in all the salt, the ingredients or the basic ingredients for the dough are ready, the machine can work, and you did a good or great job. I fasten up the machine or power up the machine once again and leave the machine for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, that's the amount or the result you should have with your dough. I hope you can see it. It's mixed up. It is a very soft dough. It's not hard like a pizza dough. It's more of a gluey consistency, and that's the right consistency. We wait for 10 minutes, then we fasten up the machine again and work it again for another 10 minutes. And that's the result you should have at the end. So you have 20 minutes of work, 10-minute rest, another 10 minutes of work. Now you've finished, or the machine has finished. When you're doing it per hand, it's the same process, but without the machine, a little bit more muscle endurance involved. And so your dough look like. If you like what you've seen up until now, it would be great if you can subscribe, or if you hit the like button, if you share it with others. It would help the channel to grow. And another thing, I put in the description down below all the ingredients and a few of the machine and other affiliate links, so if you need to buy something, it would be easier. That's how the dough should look like after it did work. You can see how high it is. The yeast dough should rise at least double in size, then it's ready. To help with the rising, I put on a little bit of kitchen foil on top of the bowl. And after I strap it on very tight, I use some normal kitchen towels and leave it be. After about 2 hours, you can check the dough should take between 2 and 4 hours to rise at the desired height, and that's what it should look like. The next step is to put the dough inside our pan. We use I call it a special pan. It's a blue steel pan with which I work. I like to work. I have to look if I can find the links for it on Amazon.com. I don't know it right now. I ordered mine from Amazon.de. First thing we have to do is we have to put oil in the pan, and you can see it's not a lot of oil, but it's a healthy amount of oil. And then I use my hand to bring it to every spot on the pan, and even to oil the rim. That's so that the crust of the pizza, the crust of the focaccia won't stick to the rim. Then I use my hand, which is oily, so the dough won't stick too much at it, and slowly I will bring the dough into the pan without using force, without pressing too much. We don't want to bring out the air which sealed in with the yeast process. And now we use both hands. I use a little bit more of oil. So I hope you can see everything. Now the pan has to be oily. My hands have to be oily so that the dough won't stick to my hands. That's and then we carefully press the focaccia dough in the form without exerting too much force, without pressing too much. And since it's a very traditional or rustical, I don't know if this word exists in English, but I use it, recipe, it don't have to be smooth, and it don't have to be very plain. It's okay if one side is a little bit higher than another. The only thing you have to watch for is that you don't have too thin a side, so that in the cooking process or baking process, or correctly in the frying process, because the focaccia is fried, it won't burn on that spots where it's too thin. That's about the right form for me. As you can see, I'm very carefully and very slowly, without exerting too much force or damaging the dough, bringing the dough in the right form. So that's the end result. It looks like that what I want to have. Be careful. So now we will put on the first ingredient. It seems a little bit paradox, and we have a lot of oil on the base of the pan. But the first thing we do is we put oil on top of our dough. Focaccia, like I said, is a rustical bread which is often eaten with provolone and mortadella, with the field worker brought with them, and so they give a lot of energy. It's not a diet food, but it's a very tasty, very rich food. Like you can see, I put down the halved tomatoes. You can put as many tomatoes as you want on the focaccia. I like it very tomato rich. I like that taste, so I'm putting on the dough as much or as many tomatoes as I can. As you can see, they aren't enough, so I'll start to cut up another few tomatoes. Like I said at the beginning, I halve them and I cut out the stalk or stem. I don't know what the right English word is, but I think you can see and understand what I mean. And put the skin side on top, so the more liquid, more soft side stays in contact with the dough, and when the cooking process starts, it won't the tomatoes won't get too dry. If you don't have normal tomatoes, you can use canned tomatoes. They're the same, or the same, not they are the same, but it's the same process. The only thing you have to look for is to cut out the stem. Now I put on the olives. Like I said at the beginning, I only do half of the focaccia with olives because my girlfriend doesn't like them. If you like olives, you can put on as much as you want. If you don't like them, you can leave them off. At the end, it's your taste, your focaccia. I'll only show you one possible way. Now, the next and not last, but nearly last ingredient is oregano. Here's the same. If you like a little bit more oregano, put in a little bit more. If you like it a little bit less, do a little bit less. I like it very much, so I put on a healthy amount, not too much, because it's dried and then it will stick everywhere. That's not what we want, but a little bit. And the last step is salt. As in the beginning, I use red Himalaya salt. That's the only salt I have at home. I don't know why. It's healthier, they say, so I use it. And that's what your focaccia should look like before you bring it or you put it in the oven. The oven is preheated for about 20 minutes at 250 degrees Celsius. I preheat the oven only with the bottom heat. As soon as I put in the focaccia, I switch to bottom and top heat. I start out with the focaccia directly on the floor for about 6 to 8 minutes, and then I switch to a middle position. After switching, the focaccia takes another 10 to 20 minutes, depending on your oven. Now I will switch to the German original audio footing so you can listen to how crunchy your focaccia should be. Ihr hört vielleicht, dass es schon kross ist. Ihr seht, the focaccia is very hot, so please take care to don't burn yourself. Ich versuche das mal so anzuheben, nicht verbrannt ist. I hope that you liked the recipe, liked the video. It would be great if you would give me a thumbs up and share the videos with your friends. If you have questions, please leave me a comment, ask everything you want. It would be great if you subscribe and hit the bell button so you will be notified as soon as I post my next video. I use, like you can see, a pizza cutter to cut the focaccia. It's still very hot, but it tasted so great, and it's a shame that I can't share the smell with you. But as you can see, the focaccia is crunchy. It's I'm lacking of words. It was so great to eat it. You can put in a little bit of prosciutto, then the fat is melting, and wow, it's so delicious. And as you can see, I hope you can see it, the dough is fairly good cooked, the tomatoes are cooked, the olives are still in a good shape, nothing is burned, and the bottom of the focaccia is crunchy. It was a great thing to cook. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, please show me your love. I will have a few affiliate links down below for the pan and a few other things. So if you are interested in buying them, you would support the channel. It would be great for me. Thanks again for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.